Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Thermaltake WaterRam RGB liquid cooled memory that was just announced today at CES. So I've been sent this kit a little bit early, actually 2 days right before CES when I was due to fly out. I still leave in about 12 hours time, so I've managed to put together a bit of a video. I've done a time that's separate to this video as well. I haven't had time to do a thorough testing of the memory itself, because bear in mind, this Thermaltake liquid cooled memory is the memory as well as the water block and heatsink. So unlike other companies in the past where it's just been your water block for your RAM, you buy your RAM, you take those heat spreaders off and put the water back on, Thermaltake is a complete solution. So yeah, I've just had to do a quick sort of video showing you what it looks like, how it all installs and so on. And I've also done a time-lapse build as well. So let's jump in and check it all out. Water cooling your memory is nothing new. Custom blocks and heat spreaders have been available for many years from custom cooling companies. I guess it was only a matter of time, and now Thermaltake have introduced their WaterRam RGB liquid cooled memory. The main surprise here is that Thermaltake have released their own memory as well, not just the cooling solution like other companies in the past. Previously, it was up to the consumer to use their own memory, remove the stock heat spreaders if supplied by default, and then install their chosen block with heat spreaders. The new WaterRam kit from Thermaltake is a complete solution, and I would say this is definitely a first from what I've seen. The aluminium heat spreaders already come pre-applied, ready to go. I was also surprised at just how good these heat spreaders look. They have a very shiny CNC edge with a matte black finish. Logos are kept to a minimum with only one sticker showing the memory speed. After a quick dismantle, which I've done for video purposes only, we find some decent looking thermal pads and the memory itself. Thermaltake have gone with Hynix C-die chips. Personally, I don't know too much about Hynix C-die, but I would have liked to have seen the more popular Samsung B-die. The kit I received is 32GB, runs at 3200 MHz with timings of 16, 18, 18, 38 with a voltage of 1.35. It's also interesting to see that each chip also has the TT logo on them. Nice touch. Installing the modules and the block are very straightforward. I would recommend installing each module first in your motherboard, then finally the block on top. I find this way works best as the motherboard basically holds the memory modules for you. Thermaltake states that you can run the WaterRam two ways, either passively cooled with just the stock heat spreaders or actively with the water block on top. I must admit the memory with just the heatsinks looks killer, especially paired with a board from the ASRock Tai Chi series. The color palette is just on point. But I guess if you're going with this memory, you're probably going to install the water block as well. The block is made from copper, which is nickel plated, whilst the top is made from acrylic, which has been frosted to help diffuse the RGB LEDs. The base of the block comes with a large thermal pad pre-installed. This pad will be making contact with the memory modules. Installing the block is easy. Simply sit the block on top of the memory modules, align the holes, and use the 8 supplied screws to screw the block down. Controlling the RGB on the WaterRam can be done a few ways, either via the supplied Thermaltake controller, which is basically the same controller as for their other products, or via your motherboard's built-in RGB header. All 4 major motherboard brands are supported. I do like how this is done via the one single cable, as now it's just a wire splitter. You don't need a separate controller like with their RGB fans. Cycling through a few RGB modes, we can see how bright and vibrant the block really is. I will say the colors look much better in real life, and I tried to get them as close as possible as I could on camera. You'll find a heap of RGB modes if using the Thermaltake controller, and the software with modes like Aura, Flow, Pulse, Firefly, Thermal, Roundabout, Swirl, and many more. Now before I wrap this video up, we'll just take a quick look at the WaterRam in action in a liquid cooled system. Now when it comes to motherboard support, I really thought there was going to be an issue with boards like EVGA, where they do their DIMM slots a little bit different than other brands. ASRock, their DIMM slots are all evenly spaced, all with small gaps, whereas EVGA tend to do it a little bit differently. They have 2 gaps, then a bigger gap, and then 2 smaller gaps. So they do it in banks of 2. Now, if you saw the WaterRam just before, they have just single slots where the block secures onto each DIMM. Now, a lot of other brands give you just a slit, so that gives you sideways movement if your DIMM slots are further or are closer apart. Now, I had no issues with either of these 2 boards. I set it up on the ASRock, screwed it all in, took it out of the ASRock, and put it straight into the EVGA. So there is enough flex in the DIMMs to actually sort of fit in the wider spacing as well. So that's what I thought was going to be an issue, but that was all good. The memory does come with a lifetime warranty on the memory, and you do get a limited 2-year warranty on the block. Now, if you are using the Thermaltake RGB controller, you do get the mobile phone support, and you'll get the Alexa support and all that. So if you're familiar with the Thermaltake Plus software, it has all those features built in, because it does just use the same controller. Because I've got this hooked up to the same controller as the fans. You just have to choose the drop down and choose the WaterRam instead of like the fans or something else. Now, in terms of flow restriction, I wasn't quite sure at first if there was going to be any, but I can pretty much say there's always going to be some flow restriction adding another device in your loop. But it's going to be nothing like a radiator or just a standard water block for like a CPU or a GPU, because it doesn't have like a fin structure inside. It's purely just all inside is just one whole sort of cavity of just nickel plated copper, which just runs straight down and then straight back out. So you don't have to worry about going through the fins or anything like that. They've gone without the fin design because, let's be honest, you don't really need to cool your memory that much. Literally, you don't even need to cool your memory at all. This is really just for sort of a showcase factor. If you're going to do your GPU, your CPU, why not do your memory as well? Now, in terms of availability and price, I have no idea just yet. It is day 1 of CES. It's just been announced, so probably within the next month we should know for sure. I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to buy the block and the heat spreaders on their own. At this stage, it looks like it's just a whole memory kit with the block and the DIMMs included as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I just want to thank you guys for watching. I did sort of rush to put these together. I just received this RAM, I think it was about 2 days before I was flying out to CES, so I had to do this build. I'll post a time-lapse video probably a few hours after this video, so you can see what the actual process and the whole build looks like. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.